Libra, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Let's get started for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and see what messages we have for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements. And if you're thinking about a personal reading, if you're interested in one, have a look at the description below, because I am extending my offer on readings till the end of summer. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, it's a great time to do that. Okay, let's get started for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and see what is the current energy around Libra. Okay, I was going to say for the week ahead, but the Five of Swords wanted to come out right away. So Libra, Five of Swords in reverse is your current energy. Now, that is an energy that, first of all, it makes me feel like there's been some frustrating conversations or some difficulty in communication. There may be something that is hard to sort of let go of when it comes to communication. You might be really wanting to have your point heard and understood, and finding that challenging. And maybe needing to sort of let go of convincing someone of your point of view. Sometimes when we see the Five of Swords in reverse, it can be an indication that there's something that we really have a desire for, to communicate something, you know? And it could be this idea that you're really wanting someone to see your point of view. And it's feeling really frustrating that no matter how many times you explain yourself or how many different ways you try to explain your point of view, that it's not coming through. It's not getting through, and you're not feeling understood. You may be starting to realize that in this situation, there are no winners here, you know, and that the lesson may be to just move ahead and let people understand what they will and what they won't from a situation. But ultimately, you can only sort of speak your piece. And if someone doesn't understand your point of view, you know, you could, I mean, it's up to you, I guess, how much time you want to invest in trying to, you know, restate yourself in different ways. But ultimately, you may actually find yourself needing to sort of explore the idea that people only understand as much as they can, and you can't push it much further than that. So seeing the Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck says to me that you may have to at some point accept that everyone understands situations based on their own level of experience or understanding, and that you know, sometimes you just have to move past it and say, okay, well, I guess we don't see this the same way, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Let's see what the obstacle is here for Libra. Feels like difficulty in communication for sure. The obstacle is the Ace of Cups. Isn't that interesting? So seeing the Ace of Cups as the obstacle says to me that there's a high emotional sort of investment in someone really feeling understood, and the thing that's keeping you sort of in a place where you're like, I need them to understand me, could be that it's an emotional situation where you're expressing your feelings about something. You know, you're using communication to talk about your feelings, and someone may not be understanding you, and it's creating some difficulties moving ahead in an emotional situation. So a lack of communication or a lack of understanding is creating sort of a situation that can't move forward emotionally. It's almost like, if you can't understand each other, how can you move forward together, is what I'm seeing here. Let's see what's top of mind for Libra in this situation. The Page of Wands. So it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating, and you could be almost feeling some angst about this, where you're just like ready to throw your hands up in the air because you're so frustrated that this isn't moving forward still. You know, and I add the still in there because it almost feels like this isn't the first time you've tried to communicate maybe with this individual or this group of people. Could be a friend, it could be family, it could be any relationship that holds an emotional attachment for you, really. And it could even be a situation at work where you're feeling like a coworker that you care about the outcome of the relationship. You have a vested interest in this relationship and you want them to sort of understand where you're coming from. But this experience could be trying to teach you something about spaces that serve you and spaces that don't serve you. And as I say that, I look at the bottom of the deck and I see the Eight of Cups, which is a time of moving on from something, frankly, Libra, because it feels like it's been incredibly frustrating to keep trying to speak your truth and have it fall in not on deaf ears, maybe that's too strong, but the idea that you're speaking your truth in a space where you're not feeling heard and you're not feeling understood. And so, it might feel like giving up, because I know Libra energy is sort of wants balance and seeks the us sort of energy, as opposed to, say, Aries energy, which is more about the I or the me. Libra focuses, and I use Aries because they're opposite to each other in terms of the nodes. So it's interesting, Libra, it feels like walking away for you is more difficult because you're more invested in the idea of the us or the we dynamic, and the idea of sort of bringing balance to relationships and creating harmony in relationships. And you might be finding it incredibly frustrating to continually say how you feel about something and have it not matter, is what I'm feeling. And so seeing the Eight of Cups on the bottom of the deck makes me feel like there may be a part of you that just needs to sort of walk away, or, accept that they're never going to get your point of view or see things the way you see them, or validate you even. Let's see here, bottom of this. What is at the root of this reading? What's driving this? Okay, so we see the Nine of Cups with the Hermit. Oh boy, and look at that. Sneaky behind the Hermit, we see the Empress and the Three of Swords. So the first two cards I saw were the Hermit and the Nine of Cups. So that makes me feel like you've done some reflection on where you feel dissatisfied. You've done the reflection. You've sat with yourself and done the exercise to say, where do I feel dissatisfied in my current experience? And it's coming through that you feel dissatisfied in communication with a certain group or a certain person, and feeling like you just don't feel heard, you don't feel acknowledged, you don't feel validated, and it's making it difficult to move forward in this relationship with this person or these group of people. Now, we're also seeing the Three of Swords, which tells me you may have to be okay with the separation between you. You may have to be okay with the space that exists between you and this person, or you and this group of people that can't see eye to eye. You may have to be okay with that space that says no one understands each other here, but we still love each other. But we don't really get each other, and it's very frustrating because we can't see eye to eye. But I say we still love each other because of this Empress card that came out with all of these. So that tells me that in this dynamic, there is sort of this need to continue moving forward regardless. So this could be a family dynamic. This could be, like I said, a work dynamic where, you feel like you and your team don't get each other, but you still have to produce the project. You still have to keep working together. It could be in a situation with a friendship where you've just been growing apart in terms of your ideologies, but you still want to be friends. So you just sort of accept each other's point of views and you don't take things personally and you just carry on. But you understand that if you want to talk about this topic, that person's not going to be the person that you go to talk about it, because they don't get it, or they don't appreciate it, or they're not interested, or what have you, that you may have to find different people to talk about different things, people that do get you, And it might be a very interesting time where you're learning that one relationship might not be able to satisfy every area of your needs, or might not meet your needs in every area. You know what I mean? That you might need pockets of different groups that, let's say you feel like going shopping and going out on the town, that's a certain group of people that you do that with. Or if you felt like going hiking and exploring on a mountain trip, or on a trip that takes you outdoors doing stuff, that's not for everyone either. That you would have to find someone to do that with that enjoys that or something. Or if you wanted to talk about spirituality with someone, that might not be with the same people that you talk about those other two areas with. You know what I mean? Like it might be that you're diversifying your groups a bit here. And it does feel like this relationship is fairly significant and that you want it to move forward. And so you might have to just sort of accept things as they are and not try to change anything or anyone. It's very interesting. It's sort of seeing the truth of a matter and accepting it instead of trying to change it into something it's not. Let's see what the past energy is here. Past energy, look at that. Page of Swords with the Two of Cups in reverse. Isn't that interesting? That tells me that even in the past, you weren't able to see eye to eye with this person. So you've really never been able to see eye to eye with this person or this group of people. You've struggled, let's put it that way. I shouldn't say the word never, but you've struggled to see eye to eye with this group of people or this specific person, even in the past. So this isn't new. This isn't new. This isn't a situation where it's sudden and it's like, what happened? We were always so, able to see eye to eye and now suddenly we can't. No, you've always struggled to see eye to eye with this person. So that could be a hint or a clue for you as to who this reading is about as you're listening. And seeing the Page of Swords in reverse says that communication with this person has never been a walk in the park, and it has never felt eye to eye. It's always felt like difficult or somehow not entirely revealing, because you've always sort of felt like there was a boundary or a limit between you and this person. I remember earlier saying that there was space. You have to be comfortable with that space that exists between you and them, because getting very close is almost difficult when you can't see eye to eye. And I think it's been like that for some time, because we're seeing it come through in the past energy as well. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Swords, which is interesting because it's almost a place of acceptance, the Ten of Swords. It's a lot of things, the Ten of Swords, but it can also suggest this idea of accepting an ending, or accepting things as they are. It doesn't have to lead to an ending. It can just be that it's the end of trying to make something it's not. That journey is over. That you're done trying to force, a star shape through a triangle hole. It's a star. It's never going to fit through a triangle. And you can try this way, that way, flip it, turn it, you can try a whole bunch of different things. It's never going to fit through there. It is what it is. And so that's where we saw that Eight of Cups, where it's like, instead of trying to change something to be something that it's not, you have two choices. You can sort of accept it as it is, or you can walk away from it. But the idea of changing it into something it's not it's outside of your control. You know what I mean? All you can control is how you react to the truth. And let's see what the upcoming energy is around this for Libra. Okay, upcoming energy. Look at that. King of Wands, Three of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands. So that's interesting. To me, that tells me that you may come into acceptance and see things the way they are, the way that they are, without trying to change them. It's interesting. It feels like you're moving in a new direction here, on a very solid foundation with a lot of confidence. So it's interesting. That sort of suggests to me that moving forward in this dynamic, you may sort of give up the quest to try to change someone, and you may just say, well, let's just move forward with what we have here as a foundation. And I think that decision makes you feel really good with that Four of Wands. Seeing Judgment on the bottom of the deck, which can be a time where you've had a significant realization about this dynamic not being within your control to change. And so you sort of opt for the path that says, I'll accept this for what it is and work with it. I'll work with it the way that it is, instead of working against it, trying to change it. You know, Libra, it's interesting. I feel like you sort of realize that moving forward, you know, it's like, remember I said you have two options. You can either accept it or move away from it. It's almost like you accept it and then you work with it in a different way so that it's amicable and that things feel like they're moving forward, right? Let's see, how does Libra feel about themselves? How does Libra see themselves in this? Five of Cups in reverse. Okay, so you're a little bit emotionally disappointed about this. I think moving forward, you decide to work with it, but that ultimately right now you're still sort of like, you know, it almost feels like you have regrets about the past. I think a part of you wishes that you had made a different decision in the past, because I think you've been aware that you and this group of people, or you and this person, have had a hard time seeing eye to eye for a long time. And so seeing the Five of Cups as how you see yourself says that you're, you know, a little bit sad about things and a little jaded, that you might be having sort of a why me moment, or why didn't I do something different in the past when I had the opportunity to choose something different? Why didn't I? I saw it for what it was in the past and I still went for it. So you may need to forgive yourself. You may be holding on to some resentments because you feel that they're projected onto another person, but actually it could just be that you need to forgive yourself for sticking around in a situation that felt out of balance, or for overly investing in a situation that felt out of balance, that you couldn't see eye to eye. And it might be a bit of a moment where you're feeling that, you know, even though you've had this realization that it's best to just work with it the way that it is, I think there's a part of you that sort of wishes that things were different. Seeing the World on the bottom of the deck tells me that you are ultimately going to integrate all of this and understand the wisdom of this experience, but that there is an emotional part of you that feels let down and disappointed. You know, with that Five of Cups, it feels like there is a significant amount of emotional disappointment, right? You've got the Five of Swords, you got the Five of Cups. So it's kind of like you feel like you can't talk to this person, you can't get your point across, and that bums you out. You know, it's challenging you emotionally for sure. Let's see how Libra is coming across outwardly. What is the outward expression of Libra right now? Is the Chariot. Stuck. Yeah. So when you're talking to other people or you're around others, your overall outward energy feels like it's not moving forward. It's stagnating. It's stuck. It's in a spot that feels like, you know, I'm seeing sort of the wheels turning in mud. The wheels are turning, but they're not going anywhere because the ground underneath the wheels is there's no traction. There's nothing to grab onto. So it's sort of just spinning. And it feels like in the future you do get some traction and you do start to move forward. But that right now, the outward expression of your energy is that it's at a standstill and it's stuck. It's stuck maybe because of the emotional quality of this, right? It's keeping you stuck. Let's see what the hopes and fears are here for Libra. The Ten of Cups are your hopes and your fears. I think you fear that you won't sort of achieve this sort of emotional content feeling where you and this person, or you and this group of people, are able to manage the highs and lows of life together, and that you have balance and harmony and sort of this mutual appreciation for each other and mutual understanding of each other. I feel like that is your hope, but it's also that you fear that that's not possible, or that you fear that that day won't come where you achieve this sort of 10 of Cups moment of fulfillment where two parties choose each other. They choose each other for the highs, they choose each other for the lows. They move forward together, they stand still together. They're together. They're in it together, no matter what. And I think that that's your hope and your fear, you know? And it's interesting seeing Justice on the bottom of the deck. I think that having that kind of balance is really important to you, Libra. This is your card, Justice. And it really does suggest an equal effort, an equal balance, sort of an equal partnership between folks. And it feels like that's what you desire. You just want balance and equality. You want to feel like you're represented equally in this situation. Now, let's see what the potential outcome is here for Libra, is the Six of Cups. So, you know, normally I would say that this is a time where we return to the beginning of innocence, and where we first meet the pair that are here in the Two of Cups, but in the past. But I can see that in the past you felt like you couldn't see eye to eye with this person. So perhaps you want to take things to a place where you can sort of begin again. You want to start over. I think you want to do over here, and maybe with the same people, but like it's almost like a time where you wish that you had established different boundaries in the past, where you would have made different commitments to each other and kept them, where you would have kept your promises to each other. I almost feel like seeing the Six of Cups is a time where we want to go back to a time where things were very much in harmony. But I feel like this is more of about you. I feel like you want to go back to your past self, you know, almost like inner child work, to say, let's choose something that we really feel connected to, instead of just taking what we can get, you know what I mean? And feeling like that's all that we're worth in the end. This also makes me feel like if this reading has sort of resonated for you on the level of family members, that you may be thinking of this as an inner child healing, this realization, this shift in perspective could be helping you to heal a part of your inner child that's wounded from disappointments and feeling let down or not feeling heard. You know, you might be experiencing this in your present to heal something from your inner child's past, where there was a cycle of not feeling recognized, that you observed or even experienced yourself, but you may have observed it in your family dynamic, and now it's playing out in your dynamic to try to bring everything into realization and integration so that you can see the pattern for what it is and break it. You know what I mean? And it feels like that's definitely here for someone. Very interesting. Ace of Swords in reverse on the bottom of the deck, where you're really, I feel like you're holding your truth within. And as I part the deck, look what we see. Oh my goodness, I think these are your two cards. Surrender to your full power and surrender the idea that you can fix someone. I'm taking them. These are your cards. You know, this is a time, it says here, it's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing, and I was going to say feelings. And surrender to your full power. Very, very strong message here. Your life is calling for you to step forward into your full power rather than playing it small. And I was just saying that it feels like you're holding your truth within because you feel like no one's going to recognize it. This really feels like a reading of breaking a cycle that's going to end up really setting you free. And as I'm sort of organizing my deck here, I see surrender unhealthy relationships, which is a time of letting go of relationships that don't serve you. But I'm also going to add the idea of transforming the expectations around certain relationships so that you're not expecting them to serve you, and that you see things for what they are, and you end up working with the energy as it is instead of trying to change it. It's very interesting. Libra, I hope this reading has given you some food for thought. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. I'm sending you so much love and encouragement. Take care.